As of this recording, Michael B. Jordan has announced that there will be a Creed 4 and there will be potential spin-offs to the Creed franchise. And all I have to say to that is,
That's a good thing.
my one single teeny tiny request is that they do not have a plot in which Adonis Creed loses all of his money in a crypto scam. Hello everyone, my name is Ryan Cam. Welcome back to my road to Creed 3, where I'll be covering every Rocky and Creed film in honor of Creed 3 coming in just under a month now. I've covered Rockies 1, 2, 3, and 4. They'll be linked in the eye in the right-hand corner. Go check those out for yourself if you are so inclined. But for right now, let's dive into Rocky 5, which is, by all accounts, the worst of these movies. And yeah, it's not great. This movie picks up immediately after the events of Rocky 4. And after the 1-2 punch of Rocky losing all of his money in a real estate scam gone wrong, and him having to forcibly retire due to brain damage, Rocky, Adrian, and their son Robert have to move back into the old neighborhood, where the only thing that Rocky has left is his old gym, Mick's place, where he refurbishes it and takes under his wing a young man named Tommy Gunn, played by Tommy Morrison. But we later learn that, well, Tommy Gunn is a bit of a Frankenstein's monster, as he soon gets Don King, George Washington Duke, a noted promoter, in his ear, saying that Rocky is holding him down. By all accounts, this is regarded as the worst Rocky film ever made. So much so that I think this was supposed to be the end, considering the montage that happened to this. And so much so that in 2006, there was Rocky Balboa, which was like, yeah, we remember how to do these and do these well. But more on that next week. I hadn't seen Rocky 5 in about a minute, so rewatching it for this series was going to be interesting. And yeah, what people have been saying is correct. This is the worst of the Rocky movies. No contest. Again, I do have some positive moments, or not moments, but things that I actually either liked what they were doing with or overall thought was good. I'm not going to hear any slander about Sly Stallone as Rocky. He is, of course, good. There's a great scene in the opening of the movie where, after the Drago fight, Rocky's hands won't stop shaking. It's a great little moment in which he's just got done in the shower and he's just sitting there, and Adrian goes into the shower with him, and he's like, my hands can't stop shaking. It's a great moment. It's never referenced again, and I'll talk more about that in a minute, but it's a great moment. I thought Tommy Morrison was good as Tommy Gunn. I mean, Tommy Gunn is the worst of the Rocky villains, to be perfectly honest. But Tommy Morrison did give a good performance, and in some respects, I see where he's coming from in frustrations with Rocky and in other places. So I didn't hate him. I didn't really love him either. And the street fight at the end, despite it kind of flying in the face of what we learned earlier in the film, is actually good fun. And I learned in my research that the fight was actually choreographed by pro wrestler Terry Funk. And honestly, I did not expect that. And honestly, if I hadn't looked that up, I wouldn't have known. I mean, if a fight is going to be choreographed by Terry Funk, where's Stallone calling Tommy Morrison an egg-sucking dog? Or where's Tommy Morrison saying that his mother is or not his mother, but Rocky's mother is that W word? Or Rocky saying after the fight, Japan, #1! Wrestling fans will get it. The best I can describe it is that storylines that you've definitely seen before, even in a Rocky film, or just stuff that did not need to be there. First of all, the one that stuck out to me the most was the thing with Rocky and his son. Now, on paper, I'm not opposed to the idea of Rocky retiring, losing a little bit of that eye of the tiger, and living vicariously through Tommy Gunn. I think that could have been interesting. But just the fact that the fact that they did it the way they did, with Robert getting beaten up at school and falling in with his bullies after he one-ups them and wearing this obnoxious little earring. I just did not care for it. Bullying in a movie, period, is just something that I'm not a big fan of. Just not because it's bad, which it absolutely is. Bullying's bad in general, but just it's been done to death in movies at this point, and I just wanted it off my screen pronto. Rocky is low-key kind of unlikable in this, and they try and do a thing where Rocky, again, is suffering quite a bit and is trying to do what's best for Tommy, trying not to do the mistakes of his past. But again, by doing that, Tommy starts kind of going down that path and ignores his family to the point where Robert calls him out in a big fight, and he's not wrong. This is by far and away the most unlikable Rocky has ever been. And it's a shame because the movie was directed by John G. Avildsen, the director of the first Rocky. Somehow, the first Rocky movie, where we see Rocky Balboa working for a loan shark and essentially breaking people's hands if they didn't pay on time, somehow that was more likable than the Rocky Balboa that we got in Rocky V. It doesn't make any sense, but that is how it works. I also didn't care for the promoter, Don King. George Washington Duke. And look, I'm not trying to harp on the actor. The actor did a fine job. But just in general, this guy was pretty much Don King with shorter hair. I mean, the guy's last name is Duke. What was Queen or Rook not taken? He even copies some of Don King's mannerisms that I've seen in Don King interviews. Like, he even has his own little catchphrases like, let's put some hustle behind this muscle. He says it so many times in this movie that I just wanted him to stop. And let's not get it twisted. The Rocky movies have always taken from what's going on in boxing at the time. Apollo Creed is Muhammad Ali turned up to about 50. So I'm not knocking it there. However, this George Washington Duke fellow was just the most annoying version of Don King you could ever hope to see. Honestly, Wayne Brady wearing the Don King headpiece in the Hat Game from Whose Line Is It Anyway is more subtle.
I'm looking for one good woman who's willing to fight. Are you willing to fight? I'll represent you.
And as noted in several critical reviews, the continuity errors and just the rehashes are low-key kind of just laughable. Like, for example, the one that I got right away was the fact that Robert, when the family leaves for Russia, is like 7 or 8. And in this movie, he looks like he's 12 or 13. I know Russia is a bit of a weird place, but if you go to Russia, you travel back in time? My brain hurts. When the movie got a ton of flack because the brain injury that Rocky suffers would actually never retire you from boxing. And considering the fact that we live in an age where people are more worried about CTE and contact sports than ever before, I don't know, that just did not age the best. Ultimately, like I said, this is the worst of the Rocky movies by a country mile, no contest. I am, however, only going to give it a forgettable rating. I'm not going to give it a horrid, because there are actually some things here where I either liked the idea or liked in general. There are little moments, but overall, I don't think the movie is terrible. I've seen far worse. However, in the context of this franchise, it's like soft ranking, it's like 2, 1, 4, 3, and then all the way down is 5. The movie was so bad that these movies went on a 16-year hiatus, and covering next week, I will be having a special guest on with me, my good friend Phil from Phil Talks Sports, to talk about 2006's Rocky Balboa. But if you like this video, please be sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, and if you like this video and you want to see more like it, hit the subscribe button and click the bell to allow notifications, so when a new video drops, you'll be the first to know about it. My name is Ryan Cam, and I'll see you in the next one.